Yeah man, greetings once again. Sibuyile nomfowethu lana simanxeba sidumbile. Hey, ya sishayene ngenduku. Uze wangilandele enye ke ngoba leyoqala iphukile. Yeba kwethu sibambene la nomfowethu, we are having the fight of our life.
Intellectual sparring.
The shadow boxing.
Yeah, shadow boxing. It's a physical war.
Mtaka Baba, I know my stance is
it's controversial.
I've been labeled a very controversial person, you know. Kuthiwa ngiyathethisana, ngiyalwa, ngiyahlaba ngamagama, ngikhuluma kahle. Abanye bathi ngi-arrogant, ngiphompasi.
All of the above.
Yeah. I like to accept the title and say, no man, I'm the devil himself, you know. And I will always play the devil's advocate. But in this time, we went back and forth, we fenced. King, we clashed swords. I want us now to get to where we don't have anything to fight about anymore.
Yes, Nirvana.
I want us to get to that point where we don't see differences anymore. I want us to talk about the concept of Untu, Ubuntu, Isintu, and take you back to the beginning of the first sit down sihlila ukuthi Untu, and I'm going to put it as a question first and then you'll expand, but I'm trying to steer us into this conversation of the universality of the spirit, of the spiritual experience, right? Untu, NTU, is it an exclusively Black African experience, or is the concept Ntu a universal experience of being alive?
Ntu can be universal, but it has a source, and the source is African people. So Ntu isintu nabantu baso, abantu abangumsinsi wokuzimilela, the people that are indigenous to the land where the word Ntu was first spoken. So it is not only spoken, but the way of Ntu is lived and practiced. Ubuntu bubuzwa kithi. Kodwa kuhambe kwafika isikhathi whereby even nabo ubuntu sibukhohlwa ngoba ayikuba sibukhohlwa sibilibele. It's more like the various disruptions that we encounter and when we encounter other peoples or other races or travelers, they leave a mark on us as much as they leave a mark on them. So that experience changes, the experience of civilizations meeting, whether they are clashing or whether they are bashing or whether they are meshing. We mishmash. Their point of contact, it usually brings about disruptions sometimes that are negative, but also those that are positive. It's like, you know, there's certain things that we feel that we can see that are good about our meeting with the visitors into this land. So those visitors, we've already explained, they are our children. So they're not visitors, they are just children returning. And also they're not even just children, because the earth itself, so about multiple cradles. I'm answering your question also, I can still in that form. Singabantu, we have that pride of being ourselves. Yet at the same time, many of us, not all of us, some of us, you cannot be proud of what you don't know. So those of us who know, we have a certain amount of knowledge about ourselves in umlando wethu, both from just on a local level and also of our influence in the rest of the world. We pride ourselves very much of being Black. Whether Black is used positively or negatively, just Blackness, we see power in just that. But more than just the term Blackness, there's power in Ubuntu. And Ubuntu can be used, commercialized. People can use it for business or use it for politics. Okusalayo, they cannot take away the essence of the fact that Ubuntu buhambisana nempikiswano, the way of living where people can live together harmoniously.
Yeah. With two questions.
Of course.
One, You say Ntu it can be a universal thing, but it has its source.
Yes.
First question is, what is Ntu? The word, what does it mean? What does it refer to? Second question, you saying Ubuntu is a way of living that was created and indigenous to Black people.
Yes. Created by
Black people.
for.
It is a system of living. It is a system of being. Did not other people that are not African have a system of being?
Of course they do.
What was that called?
It's
so
called,
two questions.
Okay,
what is Untu?
Okay.
Two, abanye abantu, what was their form, their system of living, their system of helping each other, their system of sharing foods and community buildings?
I'll start with the last question and then answer the first one, because the first one, it's technical. It requires etymology. It requires linguistics. Fanele understand inhlamvu zamagama. So understand ukuthi amagama achaza ukuthini and aqhamukaphi and akhulunywa ngobani. But I'll start with the last one. All other races and all other peoples bane zindlela zabo zokuphila. We can call it isintu uma sikhuluma ngolimi lwesintu. We can call those forms of living isintu sabo, right? But uma ngikhuluma ngesintu in the context, yonke into ine-context, inendawo yayo.
So isintu sethu versus isintu sabo.
Yebo, kodwa it is not a versus per se. It's more like isintu sikhona kwenye indawo na kwenye indawo sikhona. So ukuhloniphana kwabantu ebantwini. So ubuntu thina, when we talk about the sound, the word sound, bantu, right? There are people who talk about ublik or someone inventing the word in order to describe a people abakhuluma a particular tongue, right? You see, I'm answering the first question at the same time, in a way. Ukuthi, just because someone finds a rock and then names that rock does not mean that person named the rock. You know?
It's because just how he calls it.
It's what he calls it. And also, if he finds people calling that rock a particular thing, abantu babethi iche leli. Naye ethi iche, or maybe a variation of the word iche, or indlu, and a variation of the word indlu. That's what it's called there, right? So a person who's studying or a researcher will use that word. So I reject that notion of ukuthi igama elithi umuntu, isintu, abantu is invented by a white man. I just totally reject it. And anyone want to debate me on it, we can debate. Yeah. But the point though is that abanye abantu, they call whatever they live, their lifestyle, they call it something else. We call ours isintu. La, if you just go across a few rivers, they don't call it that. They call it unu. Ama Zimbabweans, the Karanga, they say unu. And you just cross there, they say Antu, Aba Rwandan. And you cross across the river to the Baganda, to the Ruwezori Lapa, Uganda. Yeah. They talk about the same kind of humanness. Banegama labo. Kodwa ke etymologically sengiphendula umbuzo wesibili ukuqala. Leli gama lithi umuntu or untu culturally profuse la eAfrica kakhulukazi. When I say culturally profuse, I mean concentration yaleli gama lithi
yaleyo language articulation.
Yaleyo articulation, yaleyo msindo uthi ntu, onu, or anu, or or vanu. It's something that you find in Africa. If you go to Australia, amongst the Aboriginals of Australia and the native people of Australia, banegama labo elichaza ubuntu. But it does not sound like this, because language-wise, if you talk evolution and when they lived, continental drift, or the younger Adreas, or the young, about these ages of men, ages of people civilization. Amagama abantu abezichaza fana nabathwa or any other bantu mabezichaza, but we are we. So yabona lo nto siyithi. So umuntu, there's written evidence of the word ntu going up to Egypt, going up to Kemet or Aswan, or even those areas. There's evidence of the same ntu word in names of things, names of certain izidalwa. Like if you go to Ethiopia, the word antu The word Antu, most people don't, that's not an Ethiopian word, but it's a Hamar word. It's a people of Ethiopia that are not the unusual Amharic, yabona abantu abadumile base-Ethiopia abajwayelekile, the Oromo and whatever. But the Hamar, they say Antu is a particular mountain. No, a particular shape of a mountain whereby there's a mountain, but in the mountain there's a crevice. They call that crevice Antu. And then there are people who lived around that area, and those people just happen to be called Antu Nabo. And later on, when they traveled further than the place that they were living in that mountain, it changes. The etymology, the sound of the words, they change. So until the point whereby even nakhona Ethiopia kusakhona abantu abakhona ababizwa ngamaKhush, aba Oromo, they call themselves Bantu. They say, no, you and the Xhosas and the Zulus and the Bavenda and all these so-called sub-Saharans, we are the same people. They say we are the same people. But when you are studying it from a European perspective, these are Semites or these are Shemites. You are describing something that's older with something that's new. You are using Noah to describe something which is older than Noah.
So, to my two questions. One, Utintu is culturally prevalent within Africa. And it is how we express different things. For the majority of us, we are expressing humanity.
Yes.
Others are expressing natural phenomena.
Yeah.
Others are expressing activity.
Yes.
And all of that. So even amongst us,
stars.
So even amongst us, the etymological, even the onomatopoeic,
it varies.
Sound does not mean the same thing.
Yeah, it varies.
So it is a linguistic fallacy to say Bantu is a universal African concept in terms of Buntu. But the word,
concept and
the concept could mean different things. It's not necessarily pointing to humanity.
Use Ubuntu is isitsha nkosi yami. Ubuntu kufana nomuntu. Umuntu uyivessel ya something. Lento ekumuntu ebizwa ngobuntu ihambisana neaction yalowo muntu. Not every muntu is a muntu. Not every black person also is for family. Not every kinfolk is skinfolk. Not every skinfolk is a kinfolk. Meaning basically umuntu uyinyama, umzimba, right? And njengoba umuntu enomzimba only becomes umuntu once you see their action.
Once the qualities
of that person. Yeah. So the vessel itself, while it is important because it takes you somewhere, what is important is the quality of the vessel, right? How much value does that vessel carry? That's what we talk about when we talk about umuntu. Umuntu onama qualities obunkulunkulu. Umuntu onama qualities
which goes to my second question here, manje, and your answer, Mauti. In every people, in every nation, humanity is expressed
in different ways.
Love, kindness, sharing, respect, honor, all of these principles which we call Ubuntu. Principles. So, you are saying that Ubuntu does not necessarily refer to a black African human being, because you can be a black African human being
and not have
and lack Ubuntu.
Yes.
So Ubuntu, its principles
universal,
by which we live and let live. We share space,
and things and
resources, and we exist together
in harmony.
Did the Europeans have that without interaction with us?
They did to a degree. My degrees,
as much as kuna degrees, because not all of us
practice Ubuntu. Yeah, but not all of us.
So even in Europe, so even, am I safe to say, even in the European context, based on my language application, can I say, Europe, gunabantu impela?
Yep. Ngakusho lokho.
Ngiphinde ngite China, gunabantu impela.
Jikelele.
Ngoba ngafika eYugoslavia and they treated me well.
Mm.
They welcomed me into their home.
They were humane.
They respected me.
Mm.
In their language, English,
Mm.
they call it being humane.
Mm.
It's humanity.
Mm.
Right?
The thing about Ubuntu, though, and the word Ntu, let's get back again to deeply now analyze this word. The thing about it, it's not a matter of separating blacks or Africans into an exclusive body of something. It's about, you were talking about history. It's about claiming our space and the things that are sourced from us, right? And these things that are sourced from us, a lot of them, they are qualities that are good to the world. They are good human qualities. The fact that they exist in other countries and they exist in other peoples does not take away the fact that those who embodied these qualities for a very long time, they were disrupted from living those qualities.
No.
See that? No. Ngicela ungizwe lento ukuthi why I'm talking about the disruption, because the disruption is important so that we do not take izinto zasendlini sidlale ngazo emnyango, sithathe into zasemnyango sidlale ngazo endlini, sisebenze ngazo endlini. La endlini, when I say endlini, I'm talking about indlu yakwabantu, the house of the original people. We are not only resource rich, we are rich in so many different levels. And that wealth exists in other parts of the world, but it does not exist in the same quality as we have it in Africa. Let me explain why.
But even in Africa, not everywhere in Africa there's gold.
It's not about gold only.
No, I'm just making an example of one resource.
There are places that are deserted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are places in Africa where food cannot grow.
Yes.
Cannot grow. In Africa. Now, what I'm saying is, Namane, if we are going to say it is only us, the original people, who embodied goodness, who embodied love,
a particular time,
until we were disrupted by people
violently,
who were also violently disrupted.
Yes.
So let's not forget that our disruption.
Let's identify the disruptor again. Then.
Wait. But you said the disruptor is a system.
Yes, but the system is created by somebody.
That
somebody happens to be.
Who is the face behind the system? Now you are taking us back there. Because now my problem here
those who have a God complex.
My problem here is, Naman, are you saying before the advent or before
whiteness,
before Europe and Africa crossed paths, European parents could not love their children?
They could love them.
Could not protect their children?
They did everything an animal can do.
Did not know that you have... come on!
It's nature. It's nature to
as
nurture your
as
seed.
You, as a black man who has never come across a white man, can do all of those things as exactly like
those
an
are
animal.
Natural things. Those are not systemic things.
So now, we are talking about Ubuntu as a principle that some of us black people lack, that some white people embody holistically.
Okay, let's come back to 2024. Let's have a scenario of the age we are in, and let's just understand the age we are in, so that when we speak, we are speaking.
The problem with this age,
very logically,
this age is already tainted. My question to you is: would possibility
hypothetical,
it's a hypothetical situation. In a hypothetical world, right? A conference never happened.
Okay.
Hypothetically. A conference never happened where a group of people decided whiteness and blackness. Race.
Yes.
Hypothetically, the concept of race was never created. Would have blackness been so important as it is now?
No, not at all. Not at all.
So now, what are we saying? Are we saying we are basing the importance of the color of our skin on an illusion based on a concept that was created by people who wanted to oppress? Remember, within the European context, there were Europeans who were called blacks by other Europeans.
They were not called blacks because of their skin color.
No, and not because of their skin color, because of their social standing.
Social status.
Now, that blackness got even spread to us, but it started amongst them themselves.
You see, my king, just like whiteness is a virus, blackness itself is a virus.
Now, my question
But let me
is,
explain why.
if race did
It's a
not
bacteria.
exist, would this whole Black African movement, would it have been relevant?
It exists because something else existed. I think
It's a response to something.
Yeah, a response,
so
a
now,
reaction,
are
whatever.
we basing our lives on responding to oppression?
We cannot base our lives on responding to oppression, but we must not neglect the fact that the thing that we cannot face won't be changed. We have to face it and define it and describe it and understand it.
How about just let it go and
the moment
a new
we
world?
Can't let it go, because the moment we've been letting go for a long time by basically subscribing or just flowing, right? What that happened, it cost us a lot of years and a lot of martyrs. We don't want no more black martyrs and
30
African
years
martyrs.
Democracy in South Africa.
Let me finish what I'm saying exactly.
30 years of democracy in South Africa. Are we not oppressed by the very same black people? More than the whites now.
What you are doing is looking at this thing in the cup half full, the analogy. No, let me explain. Clear. Uyibuka lento ngeso elibona lufipi, aliboni the whole picture. Uma ufuna uyibuka lento ngeso elibonayo, libona icace ithi ba, iso elinjani elikhaliphile, uzokwazi ukuthi konke kunesiqalo kunomsuka, kunesenzeko lokho kwenzekayo, bese kuba nesiphetho. Izinto ziyafika, ziqale, zibuye ihambe iphele. Right? So whiteness as a political
it now.
No, we are not perpetuating it. I've already denied that blacks can't be raised. No, we're speaking about it because you are raising it up. Me, again, we are talking about isintu. Ukuthi isintu is about qualities. But when you're talking about devices, I'm not concerned about Europeans having nothing or having.
We're talking humanity now.
Yeah,
you can't say I'm not concerned about the other half of humanity.
I am concerned with my immediate influence, the immediate influence for me. If people in Paris are listening to this right now, I don't mind.
They are immediate to us. Your neighbor is white.
I don't mind. I love even my neighbors. I love
community.
My neighbor. Yeah.
Your neighbor is a white man.
I'm not fighting against white people. My engagement is not about fighting, white people.
But you can't say I'm not concerned about them when he is your neighbor.
I'm least concerned
who
about
can help
them.
you. He's the before figure me namfuenu.
I am least concerned about
but
them.
But before figure me namfuenu, I live 10-15 minutes away from you. Before I get there, that white man would have been your first help.
See, his whiteness does not matter in the situation.
This is what I'm trying to say. No. How
in
can
any
it matter
situation?
In situation? How
because whiteness itself,
these
things.
We're talking humanity here,
yeah.
And the principles of Ubuntu.
Yeah.
That we both agree that even Europeans can embody.
Yeah. Or anybody.
Anybody
can
embody.
Even animals.
Principles.
Yes.
Of Ubuntu.
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying we cannot say we are not concerned about the other half of the people who embody humanity as well.
Let me tell you what I'm not concerned with. I'm not concerned with giving them too much space in my thinking, in my talking.
Now, my question is, are you not, by talking about all the atrocities and the disturbances and the tortures they put us through?
Correction, I'm answering the question, so give me a chance to answer it. What I am saying is, I am not concerned about what a European or even foreigners, I'm talking about foreigners. When I speak as Menzi Maseko, when I speak about a foreigner, I speak about someone who arrived to Africa after being absent for many thousands of years, ages, right? Coming back white and right and might and bright and everything yakhe igrandi. So mina fanele ngiyeke lokho kwami nginake yena. Ngize ngipende isikhathi sami ngikhuluma ngaye. I want to spend least time talking about the white man or blaming the white man. You see, that's why I'm saying I'm concerned with opening up conversations about Ubuntu betu. But uma abanye abantu benobuntu, it is their business that they banobuntu nabo. My business is making sure that abantu that are in my immediate kingdom, in my kingdom, but I'm aware also that the reason why bengenabo kangaka abantu bakithi, the reason why the lack of Ubuntu is rife is because of our interaction with a certain people. Now, that's the only concern that I have. This is my perspective, you see.
I hear you.
So
and I appreciate that perspective.
So my perspective is coming from the fact, Uguti, thina ubuntu siphilile for many thousands of years. Lo buntu hayi ukuthi besimsulwa singalwi singoni. Lezo zinto ziyenzeka in anybody.
Please emphasize that. Don't speak it in passing. Don't speak it in passing.
I'm saying we would fight.
Because you are emphasizing the glorious past of Tina's Pilubuntu.
For a long term.
No. Emphasize that as well.
Yes.
We also had Ilhungundle.
Yeah, but it does not.
We also had criminals and rapists and people who disrespected and people who were vagabonds before white men came.
Yet the level of depravity with the level of the effect, I'm quantifying it. This is what I'm doing. This is presently quantifying. You can't quantify.
Right is right,
we are putting actions on a scale.
No, man.
Okay, look.
If I steal 10 cents,
yes,
and you steal 1 million,
yes,
are we both not thieves?
We are both thieves, but the difference here is here. The difference is here.
On principle, we both stole. You can't quantify principle.
All right. Uyabona la ezweni ebathi izwe likaMthani. Izwe labo ekhabo mama nasekhabo baba. Obaba nomama baningi engikhuluma ngabo. Mangikhuluma ngomama nobaba, angikhulumi ngalabo abaphilayo engiphilile ngababona. Ngikhuluma ngabasegazini, ngikhuluma ngabantu engifana nabo, engifuze bona. Kubantu ufuzo lwabantu abansundu, abantu abazibiza ngabantu, bavame ukuba nobuntu as a matter. It's almost like in computer language, it's a fault. What is the word for it? It's a
virus.
No, not a virus. Like it's a default. It's a default setting. Yeah. So it is our default setting to be good. Yes, it's humanity has that too.
But you can't say that, Maseko.
No, but I'm saying
it's their default setting. It's their factory settings to be evil.
Their actions have tended to show us that.
Maseko.
Yes,
Maseko,
but I'm answering you. I'm not saying agree with it.
How many people were against what Hitler was doing in Germany?
Maseko is not saying agree with what he's saying.
How many people were against what Mussolini was doing in Italy?
Plenty.
How many people were against what Napoleon? They tried. He killed them.
You see.
You want to tell me that it is their factory settings to be evil? As a nation? Come on.
That's what you're saying. I did not say they're evil.
You're saying it is our factory settings to be good.
Even nation is a systematic word. Nation.
As a people, are you saying we black people
let's look at this thing.
Naturally, inherently created to be good and nothing else?
Yes.
And
I'm saying that.
The Europeans, what are you saying about them?
I'm not saying anything about the Europeans.
No, I'm not asking you about them, though.
But you are asking me about something that I'm not interested in. It's not my subject matter.
You cannot say
Europe is not my subject matter.
No. You cannot
I don't know the names of the rivers in Europe. I know the names of the rivers in Africa. I'm concerned about Africa.
No, but there are rivers in Europe as well.
I don't care about them.
No.
I care about the rivers of the earth and how Europeans have polluted them.
As much as we have.
No, we have not polluted the river as much as Europeans have.
No.
If you Googlish, ask Googlish. Must we consult Google and look at the price that the world.
Black people are inherently
look
good
at the
by
price.
factory setting.
Look at the price.
Other people in factory setting, they don't
look at the price that whiteness has cost the earth.
Look at the
That's
price
what
that
I'm measuring.
blackness has done.
Nothing. But blackness has not damaged the world as much as whiteness has. Nothing, not at all.
Robert Mugabe?
Ngeke.
Joshua
Mugabe. Wenzeni Mugabe? What did Mugabe do?
The Shonas, what did the Shonas do in Zimbabwe when they came in?
Yeah, my brother, you are comparing apples with peanuts.
It's not. You
are revealing your ignorance
in Zimbabwe.
Maybe you are revealing your ignorance.
No. Yes, this is my ignorance because.
Okay, let's rise above ignorance. Let's talk knowledge. Let's talk history.
No. Knowledge is ignorance, Autam, because you are choosing to ignore half of knowledge to focus on one side. When I'm saying
you are not only showing your ignorance, you are showing your temperament.
No.
We must reason as gods and as kings.
But now we cannot reason light and not talk about darkness.
It's fine. Let's talk about darkness.
We cannot talk about light and negate darkness.
But
the existence of it.
It exists.
You cannot say I'm not concerned about it.
I'm not talking about darkness. I'm talking about blackness, not darkness. Darkness and blackness are not the same thing.
It's an example.
Oh, okay.
We cannot talk about light and negate the existence of its opposite. Now, if you are going to say
I am
it
saying,
is a factory setting for black people
yes,
to be inherently
to have
good.
Ubuntu. No, not to be inherently good. To have Ubuntu. To have Ubuntu. Ubuntu
But
is more than
Ubuntu
goodness.
is a principle. We agreed.
Goodness is one of the principles of Ubuntu.
But we agreed that Ubuntu is principle observed through behavior. The question is, Ubuntu as a principle,
Yes.
is it a purely black thing? Yes or no? As a principle, the observable behavior of Ubuntu,
We're going around in circles.
We are not. Is it strictly a black
Ubuntu
African thing?
Yep, Ubuntu ababantu. Ubuntu ababantu.
In
And
Europe,
abantu.
It's the other side of the coin. It's just the other side of the coin.
I said it can exist in Europe. If it exists, fine.
Okay.
It's good for Europeans. But here, Mina, I am concerned about isintu sabantu. And Ubuntu babantu is something that needs to be restored because, and I'm saying that there was a time in our lives, in our history, where it was of a quality and a quantity that was larger than what it is now. And the way it is now is because of our interaction with labo bantu abangabotshengisanga ubuntu. And yes, there are certain
I
things.
Agree with that.
There are certain things that we can look at ourselves and analyze ourselves.
The very same people that came and oppressed us started the oppression amongst themselves first. Yeah, you are not concerned, but it's as an intellectual question.
Okay,
as an intelligent adult, I'm asking you a direct question.
Yes.
Can we agree that the oppression that happened to Africans also affected Europeans as well?
Not to the same extent.
Oh,
so it did not. Because they benefit from the oppression. They benefit from imperialism. They benefit from the system that oppresses other people and destroys the earth. You see? So all I am saying to you, that's why I'm saying, that's why I took, when you say I'm psychoanalyzing, but I'm actually defining the level of questioning.
So there is no poverty in Europe that was caused by the elite. Right now in London, in England, there is no poverty. There is no classism in Europe that was caused by a few people. There is no such.
Loading it over others.
There is no such in London, in England now.
In scale, you cannot compare it with Africa. In scale, you cannot compare it with what they have done throughout the world. You see, comparing a ghetto as a London, as a deep kloof, you are comparing things that cannot be compared. And that have different causes even.
Angeke ngiseze ungishayile Maseko, induku ngibekile phansi bakwethu. A thief who stole 100 rand is not the same thief as the thief who stole $1 million. They are not both
what you are doing is called not diminishing, there's a word for it. But you are diminishing this thing which is larger than itself and you are making it micro. You are taking something that is broader. You may think that you are taking us there to the broader level, to the human level, the universal level, by saying that we must judge whites the same way as we judge blacks.
No, I'm saying we must judge wrong as we judge wrong.
But we're not just talking about wrong and right. We're not talking about wrong. We were specifically talking about race. We're talking about the behavior.
But I asked you the question: if race, hypothetically, if race did not exist,
but it exists.
Where would our
We're not talking about
be?
If. Stop hyperbole.
Right now we have mixed couples. We have mixed couples. We have children of black and white people. What about those children?
What about them? What about them?
Let's say I fall in love with a white woman now.
On which level?
Let's say I fall in love and I marry a white woman now.
It's a personal.
This is what I'm saying, Maseko. Listen to what I'm saying. I choose to marry a white woman, and we have children. On the scale of Ubuntu and race, where do I leave my child? I'm black, his mother's white.
I think we need to have an episode where we talk about coloreds.
I'm not talking about
mixed race people.
Here.
No, but that's what you're describing.
My child. Where do I put my child?
What do you mean?
I'm white, his mother's black. We have a child who is mixed race. Where on the race spectrum does my child fall? Is he black? Is he European?
It's a choice. It's a choice again, just like you chose to marry to get a child with a white woman. The choice between the two of you.
No, I'm black. The mother's white. What about the child?
Did you hear my answer though?
Where does the child fall under?
Choice.
Whose choice?
The child's choice and the mother's choice. You see, Lendalena, angithi scales. You made a choice to make love or to have sex with a white woman, and then your child is a hybrid or a mixed person or a mixed multiracial child, right? That child is a human child, right? On a human level, the child is equal to every human being. On a level of ukuthi lo mntwana ufuna on the spectrum of what human beings have created, systems of color grading, race and racism, and all these things, which have their repercussions, economic ones, spiritual ones, language ones, right? That child chooses. There are children today who have mixed race heritage who choose to be more African than they are European. Their mother is European, but they embrace their African identity more than they embrace their European. And then there are others who embrace their European identity. So that's why I'm saying we must talk about these things in context. Let's not be out of context. A black man's wrong does not make it less wrong than a white person's. To answer this question that you've been repeating a lot of the time, two wrongs don't make it right. But what we are saying, and also choosing to emphasize a development of black institution, black-owned things, black self-sufficient, it has nothing to do with ilokuzane, abanye abantu. It has everything to do with self-improvement, right? And that self-improvement, you may look at it as something maybe still archaic, as something which is not evolved enough to think universally. It is not so.
No,
you are
Maseko,
looking.
no.
No.
Now you're making assumptions.
No.
Now you're making unfounded assumptions. No. Listen. Now you're making
when you say universal
assumptions.
Thinking, universal consciousness is better than black consciousness.
Why put color on consciousness? Why put color on consciousness?
Exactly.
Why can't we just call it consciousness?
Black consciousness only exists because of white supremacy. It existed because of white supremacy, but we do not define everything abantu only according to black consciousness. Black consciousness is a way of
can we agree, Uguti? Here we are dealing with
imperialism.
We are dealing with a school of thought that has in its center the history of oppression and disruption,
and then also glory.
No.
Because it's consciousness. It does not only look at the negatives.
Wait. There is a school of thought that looks at the disturbance.
Yes.
There is a school of thought that says the children growing up now, 2000, were born in the 2000s. They don't need to be polluted with that stuff because why? They are growing up with white children. They are having friends with white children. Their world is not as racist as maybe our world used to be.
Okay.
Now,
makes sense what you're
if
saying.
I'm going to sit here and teach my children that, my son is 15 years old right now.
Yes.
If I'm going to show him a world where race is the most important thing, I'm fucking him up.
You are doing exactly that. But if you show him that race exists, it exists because it's been created. It has a timeline. Now, in a system of racism, a system of oppressor abantu according to their race in a timeline.
According to your words, according to your words, race is something that was created and it has a timeline. When is it going to end? Racism. If it has a timeline, my question is, when does it end and who is responsible to end it?
I'm not responsible for ending something I did not create. Black people did not create it. And I'm answering.
Okay.
I am not responsible for ending something I did not create. It was not black people who invented racism as a system, an economic system that is spatial, that deals with geography, that deals with taking things en masse and owning them and then employing the ones that were already in that land and making them the subservient to you. To do everything according to you, from your laws to your religion to
and
your
this
everything.
Is why so
the moment we equate ukuzithanda kwethu, nokuzazi, nokuzifuna, nokuzithola kwethu to any approach which is akin to a revenge or retribution, ukuthi fale bakhokhe for what they've done to us. That is an extreme level of what blackness stands for. Blackness, as much as I said earlier, blackness and whiteness were all created, right? Some even say blackness is a shadow of whiteness, or the light is a shadow of the dark, if they want to talk in terms of the spectrum of colors, whatever.
Those are human coinages.
Yeah,
the
these are all
is,
human
when
constructions.
When does it end and who is responsible to end it?
The ones who are responsible to end it are the ones who created it.
Okay.
But Tina, we are responsible for taking care of ourselves. So me taking the responsibility for taking care of myself must not be taken as racism or reverse as racism.
You answered me.
That's false.
You answered me.
Yeah.
Difference of school of thought.
Yeah.
my school of thought, which is me, my children that I give birth to, my sons, my seed,
Yes.
I
based on the
choose
now.
to take the responsibility to end it now.
Wonderful.
Good
Good luck to
me
you.
now personally, I choose to teach my children. That's a human being.
That's
That's
exactly
a
what I teach
human
my
being.
children.
That's a human being.
But what makes you assume?
I gave you the chance to answer.
But you're assuming that we don't teach our children that others are humans.
I gave you the chance
but
to
your
speak.
assumptions are
I
in your
gave you a
questions.
chance to speak.
Yes.
Allow me the
Your
same
assumptions
courtesy.
are very dangerous, though.
Allow me the same courtesy.
Yeah, okay. Let me allow you.
Allow me the same courtesy.
It is best.
I asked you 2 questions and you answered.
Yeah.
Can I respond?
Yes, you can.
Can we be mature about this?
Let's do that. Yeah.
I choose to take the responsibility on myself to see a human being.
Okay.
I personally, me.
That's good.
Schools of thought.
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying children who were born after this whole traumatic experience, basically what you are exhibiting is post-traumatic order the symptoms, because you are fighting about, and not you.
Yeah, the people
this
who
whole thing,
think like me, yes.
This whole thing. We are fighting an oppression that's no longer happening.
No, it's happening. Make no mistake.
Right now, we have 3 black billionaires in the country. What are they doing to support black children? 3 black billionaires.
Yes.
And one of them is the president.
You're basing your
what is it that they are? No.
That billionaire would. It's money, it's capital, it's white capital that they own.
Is that not oppression?
They don't own none of it.
Is that not oppression? Taking everything to one side to yourself?
They are living
and
as white.
Sharing it
they
amongst?
are proxies of whiteness, those ones. They are black, but they are just proxies of whiteness.
No, I give up.
They are continuing the system of whiteness and white capitalism.
No, I give up.
Don't give up. You're striking at the chord, actually.
No, I give up. Man, inkinga ndoda, uyangihlukumeza. Uyangihlukumeza because I feel we may not have read the same books. We may not have studied in the same schools or met the same teachers or whatever. The journeys have been different. But when it comes to knowledge, history is history.
Yeah.
Truth is truth. Yeah. Right now, you are playing a narrative. You are playing a safe game. You are safeguarding a narrative instead of a truth. And this is where me and you are having our dispute.
Yes.
You are pushing this Pan-Africanist black first narrative.
Black power. That is what I'm pushing, yeah.
Black consciousness, black power, Pan-Africanism or whatever.
Yeah.
You are pushing a narrative.
Yes.
That was created by people who were responding to a political pressure 50, 60, 70, 100 years ago. And you are deliberately denying the truth in order to feed the narrative. My question is here, when we are speaking about the universality of spirit, how then do we speak about universality of spirit if we are still going to include race? Which, by the way, you said it was created and it has a timeline and it should go.
Let's exclude race. Let's exclude race and speak spirituality. Spirituality is universal. The question at hand was not whether spirituality is universal or not, but whether actions of good and evil are also universal. Ubuntu is
this
also
is
universal.
Where our argument
Ubuntu
was.
is also universal.
Wrong on this side. Is it the same wrong on that side? And you said no, quantitatively.
Yes, and I'm still standing on that because
a thief that steals 1 rand is not a thief compared to a person who steals a million.
They are both thieves.
Okay.
What am I agreeing?
Bottom line.
Yeah, bottom line is they're all thieves. Bottom line is ukulunga, wickedness is wickedness and goodness is goodness. No matter who performs it, right? Animal, nation, whatever. The reason why I keep bringing our conversation back to systems is because I keep emphasizing Uguti. I, as Menzi Maseko, I'm not against white individuals. And I'm not also pro every black individual. So it's not an either or situation whereby I'm saying abantu abamnyama bamsulwa nje generally. I know that there's a part where I said by nature ubuntu into ekuthina at the core, at the essence, right?
Because mina ngihlaselwe abantu abamnyama la emzini.
Yeah, ukuze ngichaze kahle ukuthi zonke izimo zinani zinomsuka wazo. Every effect has its cause, right? So zonke lezi zimo lezi ziyathelelana, izimo ziyathelelana, right? Ngiqonda ukuthini? Ngiqonda ukuthi it's almost like a domino effect. Yabo. The fact that Umzilikazi destroyed on his path to KwaBulawayo.
Okay.
The name is not called KwaBulawayo for nothing.
Okay.
Wafa abantu on the path. It's a blood path. Some call it the path of blood.
Mm-hmm.
Some call it the red path.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke about Utingan. Utingan.
Utingan.
Abanye Shaka, they document as the most bloodthirsty. So you cannot compare Mussolini and Shaka and say, oh, that other's blood is better, that other one is. So I want us to agree. Not that I want us. We agree on the fact that wrong. A thief is a thief, black or white. Where we disagree, my king, is where it cause a particular effect. I'm saying that the effect of a system called whiteness, whether it was invented at whatever time, whether it was ancient Rome or whatever, but that system whereby abanye abantu bayaweyana due to race, it's a wrong system. It was wrong when it was created. It's wrong now. It's worse now than when it was created. Right? Black abantu that are called black lived their life autonomously, wonderfully, and they traded with all kinds of races back thousands of years.
They had castles.
Yeah, but even
they were aristocrats.
So as African people, we've been attacked by other people for many years, right? But what we are talking about now in 2024, on a scale of, the reason I'm talking about a scale is not to say that, the Nation of Islam say the devil, white people are inherently evil. There are other books like the ISIS Papers, which talk about, they should be called inferior complex rather than superiority complex because they are responding. You know the thing I just say about
it's reverse racism.
It's reverse racism.
It's reverse racism.
They were acting like this to us because they were angry.
So we have to act like that to them now.
So I'm not promoting reactionary thinking. I'm promoting responsive and also responsible thinking. What do I mean by this?
Responsible thinking. I like that.
Responsible actions also, because responsible thinking will lead to responsible actions. What do I mean by that? I mean, singabantu, we must not. I don't believe falisibe guilty for loving ourselves. And the moment we love ourselves and we say, no, yabona logo, singenza konke okunye, but ngicela logo, singadlala ngako, but let's not trade with it. It's ours. Now abelungu abesho njalo bethi, yabona lezi zinto lezi ezethu. Can we not trade with it? Can we deal with these things?
Which is
I'm advocating for black power for that reason.
No. How about
to equal the playing field?
No. How about we say?
Earth.
How about we just call it
justice?
That's it.
Yeah.
Instead of black this, black that, black that, because now we are
corrections
feeding the narrative
of
reactionarism.
But it's corrections. We need to do the corrections.
But I like what you said, Uguti.
Corrective action.
I like what you said, Uguti. Being responsible thinking and leads to responsible action. Hence, I said to you, I personally take the responsibility to teach my children human being.
And I agree
human being.
Yeah.
No, this one comes from France. This one comes from England.
And we
this
agree
one
on
comes from Gupigu. Now,
Mamela,
and I'm not sitting here and I know...
We don't want uniform.
I know
people.
Millions of you out there in England, you're going to sit there and think, yeah, Vele, he's against black love and black power. No. Every time I introduce myself as who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
Right? I've never pretended to be something that I'm not. The love I have for myself is the type of love that makes me stand by what I'm saying.
It's good.
Do you understand? But me loving myself does not lead me to hating the next person.
Absolutely.
Right? Me loving myself does not lead me to negating the existence of the next person. Me loving myself says, wow, I could really live with that person and learn from that person and work with that person.
And those spaces exist. Those spaces are here. And we embrace them. Even now, Menzi, I keep quoting myself. I embrace spaces where all people of all colors are living together, doing things together.
Because that's where you actually see the traits of Ubuntu humanity.
Yeah. And,
right?
and I already said earlier in our conversation that those spaces exist.
Tina,
we must celebrate them.
Amongst ourselves, how many of us sit around tables and gossip about each other and plan evils against each other?
Plenty.
You understand? So now, if we're going to talk about Ubuntu as a principle of all-encompassing goodness, let's not limit it to black people because they are evil worse. to an
No, I
extent.
disagree that
No,
they
no,
are
no, no.
worse.
Do you
Okay,
know
that's
why
just
I
a-
say they're worse?
I just disagree.
Do you know
that's
why
all.
I say they're worse?
Yeah.
Because they're doing it to me.
Yes.
One who
It's
looks
closer
like them.
emotionally.
That's why
Closer.
it's closer to home.
Yes, yes.
Nigga, I opened my
bites.
gate for you to give you a plate of food. You
Yeah,
came into
you
my bedroom
violate
and
me.
raped my daughter.
You violate me.
It's
evil.
worse.
It's evil. No, it is worse.
A white man, yes. Vervoet, yes. Van der Merwe, yes. They did what they did.
But that's also
but they
limiting
didn't
to
do
race
it
again.
to me.
See, that's coming back to race again.
No, I'm saying
you feel it more because they black.
Because you're supposed to be
but
protecting me.
This is exactly what I'm saying from the beginning.
You're supposed.
I'm preferring my people.
But now, if
I'm preferring myself and my family.
But now listen to what I'm saying.
But
listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. It hurts me the most because you are supposed to be protecting me.
Yeah.
You are my brother.
Yeah.
Right?
My sister.
You're my sister. Right?
Yeah.
It hurts more.
True.
Because it's my brother doing that to me.
And then
we cannot sit here
and defend,
observing our brother doing that
wrong
to us and blame the white man who's not even here.
We can't, but we can reason.
At what?
We can reason.
What
is reasoning?
Like siyakhuluma manje we are reasoning.
But
reason
it also
what?
It also angithi sifuna le situation
67 years ago him raping my daughter is a result of the apartheid act.
Whatever. Come on. I'm saying we can reason about those particular things. Everything is its own different context. So mina ngithi ke resolutions are possible. Just like revolution is possible, right? As we resolve, there are certain things we agree on, there are certain things we don't agree on. And I think we should be comfortable in disagreeing. But I also understand your passion that if we agree on something that's not true, then you have a problem with that. I also have a problem with that. If you agree on things that Menzi is pretending, he's just agreeing just to please the audience. That's a problem. That's wrong. That's hypocrisy. That's a hypocrisy. Now, if I feel like you are saying these things about black people's behavior or black people's actions, if I feel it is my right to defend the not the action, but to understand and analyze and describe where the action comes from. Let's just pretend it's the same thing. Manje. This war is happening now. And we try to stop it. But it keeps blowing up. Someone threw a stone. Someone threw a knife. Someone shot the 3 kids. Someone decided, no, right? These people, like, look at nations today, 2024. They're made up of multinational people. Black Americans can attack South Africa as Americans. South Africans can attack Ghana. And Ghanaians can attack Australians. And vice versa, whatever. On a national level, right? Hambe iphele lempi aba. Mayiphela lempi khona le imkhosi lena amasiko okubuyisana, reconciliation. So the point of the amalokuzana reconciliation, ama articles of reconciliation or the actions towards that reconciliation will involve ukwehlela ngezansi okumangalisayo. Will resolve give and take.
That off?
Today, it's been happening. I'm saying black people have been doing this with white people, and they've been doing it together as black people amongst each other. But izimpi zisakhona. Conflicts zisakhona eCongo. Conflicts zisakhona between like Southern Africa, even between parties. Some of them it's not bloody, but what I'm concerned with is dismantling the system, which just so happens to have been created by white people in Europe. This system, it pits us against each other, whether you're black or white, black and white and white. You see, it's a system created by the elite. You mentioned the elites, Khaled. Didn't the elites of Europe oppress others and cover them to be safe? I said to you, I agree with that. They did. But umehluko, mina ngikhuluma njengomuntu omnyama ola endaweni yasekhaya, where I had to go and pay 300,000 rand for land. 300,000 for land in KwaDukuza. In my own homeland, I have to pay money. Yeah, there are other people who can find it bakhonza ngendlela ehlukahlukene. But no, the difference is that money is not going to emakosini. If that money was going to emakosini for development of that land, how I would gladly. But the problem, the money is going into a system. The point I'm making is that the money, the way we trade with even indlela esiphila ngayo, impilo yethu impoqa bulungu ngale ndlela oppressayo, ibhlungu. Whether ngiyamthanda umlungu noma ngimthanda, even whether if I'm married to umlungu, it's not going to change the fact, or ngineyingane zabelungu.
How many black people?
It does not change the fact that bona they benefiting from my oppression on a universal scale.
As oppressed as you are, how many of your brothers?
Me, Menzi, saying I'm not oppressed, but black people are oppressed.
But this is what I'm trying. This is where I'm trying to get at.
So it's not personal.
This is where I'm trying to get at. If you could systemic. Buy land for 300,000 with money that you worked hard for, are we now going to blame Imikuku on Jan van Riebeck?
I blame the system.
You bought land with 300,000 within the system.
Yes.
Through hard work.
I have to exist in the system.
With Maseko, don't be partial, within the system, you worked hard and bought land for 300,000.
I would have preferred not to pay that much. I would have preferred to Konza, but go back.
We're speaking fact.
Yeah.
You worked hard before. You worked hard within the system.
Yeah.
I'm not glorifying the system.
Can't escape the system at the moment.
I'm not sitting here glorifying the system. I'm not sitting here saying white people are good.
Or the system is right.
And the system is right. No. I'm saying responsibility iqala nini.
Manje mina. I'm responsible for everything.
But now, if you are going to sit there and blame the system,
I'm not sitting here to blame the system. I don't want it to be misconstrued that I am blaming someone.
If we are going to sit here and say the system is the problem, when me and you within the system live on farms, within the system drive cars, within the system
we're not totally free.
No, I walk around naked on my land. I'm totally free.
I'm just saying that I'm not totally free until we are all free.
But now what I'm saying is, what made me and you, Sibenji, the difference between us and them who are not free is responsibility.
We took responsibility.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes, I agree.
Responsibility, that's the difference.
Black man, black woman, you are responsible for your own freedom and liberation in this time.
It's not a racial thing.
Yes.
Stand up. Get up, stand up for your rights.
For your rights, no matter who you are.
Do it for yourself.
No matter where you are.
The colon,
but you must not absolve them of guilt because the guilt is there.
But the guilt is equally shared on our side.
No, you share it. Other black people don't.
The children of the people
ABBA Ayalew shares the guilt with white people. Many black people do not share the guilt with white people.
I don't share that needy. The guilt of the wrong is shared equally.
No, it's not equal.
That's the thing. You mentioned Umziligas and the bloodbath.
Invading and warring and killing.
So he is not as guilty as the white people?
Fine. On a moral level, yes, he's guilty. He killed. On a moral level, he killed.
South Africa.
Systemic level. No, we can't.
Siyabonga. Sizobuya sihlangane ngelinye ilanga. Give thanks mfowethu. Siyabonga man. Let's keep having these debates bagwethu. Because at the end of the day,
responsibility.
We are negating responsibility for Pan-Africanist concoctions and blaming Europeans, and when we are not responsible. Amakhaya, our kings, amakhosi wethu emakhaya bahleli bodwa sigcwele emikhukhwini Alexander. Amasimi awalinywa sigcwele emikhukhwini eThembisa. We are not being real.
It's the system, nigga.
Siyabonga.